I don't know why, but you were watching the Madness Comic Network. Are you mental?
And good afternoon, everybody. I am RJ Carter, listening to the Silverline track in the background here as we move into yet another Silverline show. Our good buddies Roland Mann, Tim TK, and all the Barb Kaleberg, all those fine people at Silverline. Love to have them on the show. This is one of our special editions because last night I screwed up. I know, it's hard to believe. I'm so on top of things. Normally I'm just like, the trains run on time. But no, it was on me. That's why the show failed last night. It was totally my fault. Fortunately, Tim TK was gracious enough to say, you know what? I'll give you an hour of my Saturday, my personal time, my Saturday, he says, to come on the show and talk about this comic. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Tim TK. Tim, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I got snowed in, so I'm kind of just cabin fevered a little bit here.
Yeah.
But we have electricity, we have internet, and so it's, other than just not being able to get out, it's a normal day.
That's good. Yeah.
So we have people watching. We have Genuine Comics out there. Dave Brink, who's one of our good friends and clients of the show. Glad to see you here, Dave. I have not seen your work before that I'm aware of, Tim.
Okay.
So I'm going to be asking all kinds of questions like, why are you doing comics, son? I mean, this is your whole life is ahead of you, and you're gonna do comics. Come on, break your heart.
They will. I mean, I got into comics because it's just the written art form that I love the most. I love all forms of writing, but it's the one that has been more consistent in my life as a fan, like since I was 5 onward. So I've been reading pretty much my entire life. I do dabble in traditional publishing and writing more classical short stories, novella, fiction, things like that. And I had some success there. However, comics is where I feel like I can really get the most of combining traditional written storytelling and visual storytelling in a way that won't blow up a film's special effects budget. So it's fun. It's good, clean fun. I like it, and I've always liked it. So I figured might as well make something in the art form that's been with me for so long.
Yeah, that's the thing about comics and cartoons and such like that, is like, once you've topped out the page rate of the artist, the special effects budget is sky's the limit.
Exactly.
It's one of the things that Lou Scheimer would talk about with the Star Trek animated series, was basically the continuation of the 5 years, but they didn't need rubber suits. They could draw whatever they needed. It almost made it more real than the real life version of it.
Right.
So do you remember your gateway comic? Do you remember that first hit, the first one, Free, all that stuff that got you into the industry?
Yeah. Well, one of the first ones was an old Action Comics that my dad had lying around, so Superman's been something like I've liked off and on, but mostly was the fact that after I found out, I found his collection of X-Men comics, leading into dealing with the Marauders and all that, and I've just been an X-Men fan ever since. So for me, a lot of ideas or things that, like, what made me fall in love with like the idea of like having cool things in comics came with like how cool the X-Men were and the stuff that they could showcase through 22 pages and so many panels.
X-Men was really it's a masterclass in storytelling for comics. I mean, you've got, like you said, 22 pages to tell a story and yet tell a story.
Right.
X-Men have these long ongoing arcs, but I never felt like picking up a random issue that I was lost.
Right.
In the thing. You always like, oh, this is the story going on, and oh, they've had this thing going on for some time now, and it's continuing on. I don't think Chris Claremont has wrapped up even all of the threads in that thing yet that he left laying around, but enough of them, I guess.
Yeah, and that's also something like I think when you think about like the amount of teamwork that goes into making a comic. I think X-Men in particular, out of any of Marvel's ongoing lines, but I think a lot of bigger like long-term ongoing lines, has showcased a great amount of cooperation between multiple different writers, artists, and even the editorial team of knowing, where to pull from the Bible and what do we put in that blurb at the front to make sure the writer and artist work has the correct context to really shine.
So when did you start writing comics? Is this your first entry into the field, or have I missed you in the industry somewhere?
No, this is my first comic book. So Wolf Hunter #1 came out a few years ago, and we had some issues with the artist walking away, and then picking up Ray Fujiwara, who has done fantastic work with issue 2. And we got this completed, and now we're starting to work on the third one. Before this, like I said, I had written on a villa, as well as a few pieces of short stories that have gone through different journals and traditional academia publishing.
Well, that's quite a feat, actually, that your first time publishing is with a publisher.
Right.
So many today are just like they're making their breaks through crowdfunding, doing their own thing first, hiring their own artist. But you're in with Silverline, which that's Malibu by any other name,
Right.
and they're a known quantity. So congratulations on that. How did you market Wolf Hunter to Roland and Company?
So actually, I had done my undergraduate at the college that Roland teaches at. So I went through his class, and after I graduated and was continuing to publish, and Roland was looking to essentially relaunch Malibu as Silverline. We had stayed connected, and he was following my writing career, so he reached out to me to ask me to come on board. And I had done some submission editing for Silverline, and then submitted my own pitch and put together a team, and now we have Wolf Hunter.
There you go. Yeah, Scott Snyder does a very similar thing. He teaches classes on creating comics, and then his students become contributors to his online crowdfunded anthologies.
Yeah.
So let me bring the Wolf Hunter campaign up here. I did find the one on Fund My Comic. I don't know if that's the only one.
No, that's the only one we're in, yeah.
Okay, because I know some people, they spread the love across the multiple platforms. This is the one I got. $72 raised in the last 3 days. So it's a baby campaign. This thing's just started.
It just started, yeah. And at Silverline, I'm sure you already know, but we only fund comics once they're fully completed. So it's not on the issues we've had on Kickstarter in the past, where you have one creator who funds a comic and then takes the money and there's no book.
There's a guy out there who's going on 12 years now.
Yes,
with no book.
So this is essentially, it's crowdfunding, but essentially what it is, it's just a more organized pre-order system that gives us a better cut to give to our printer.
Makes sense to me. So tell me about the concept behind Wolf Hunter. I can read it. I have read it, and I can see from the pictures. But this looks like something that Harry Turtledove might do if Harry Turtledove did comics.
Yeah, that's a fun reference. Wolf Hunter is actually I think it kind of took a lot of James LeCar writing put into it, but it's a secret history in World War II, based off of a real event that happened, but injecting a fictionalized spy story. The Tizard mission was the development of the Magnetron, which would later become a small packaged radar that you could put into airplanes. Because at the time, radar was massive towers. So when you had the wolf packs, the German U-boats on the blockade around England, there was no really early warning system to stop them from destroying the convoys. And that was Britain's greatest threat early on in the war, was actually losing economically and being forced to essentially dismantle and pull out. So they developed package radar that they could put into their planes and hunt wolf packs. However, in order to get that package radar mass produced, they had to take it from London all the way over to the United States to get it into factories. And on the first
Japan wasn't an option then.
Right. Japan would probably would not be willing to work with the UK on this.
They'd have been happy to make them. But
Yes, maybe for their own. Actually, I think Japan by the end of the war is one of the only forces that did not have package radar because the Germans had their own. So the first step of this journey was taking the prototype on a train from London to Liverpool to board a essentially would be a rogue convoy that while the diversion would go along the main route, they'd go across by the Arctic Circle and come up to Canada. So the Wolfpacks would be distracted. And on this first leg, Henry Bowen, who's one of the scientists who helped develop Magnetron, misplaces the prototype package.
oh,
Because an overzealous porter takes his briefcase from him and runs off. And so they have to hunt him down and grab the thing back. So in reality, that's more so just a comedy of errors. However, I want to say, well, there's, according to sort of our best geopolitical analysis and science of today, we know that there are about 6 to 8 German spies that went undetected in London for the duration of World War II. So what if one of those spies had been tracking the development of this prototype and instead was trying to steal it and get it over to Germany? So then Germans would have 2 forms of radar and the Allies would have none. And we inject a spy story into what is a small blip of the greater technological war of World War II.
World War II, I'm still amazed sometimes at the technology I see that came out of that. I mean, we watch movies like the one about the Enigma machine, German cryptography that still, is pretty damn good if you don't have that decoding box. And then things like this radar. One of the things I saw more recently was that the Germans had developed, and God knows how it would have worked or if it would have worked, but everything else did. It looked like a bullet with like a drill going around the top of it. So it looked like it would bore through a mountain.
Yeah.
But it was meant to be a time machine.
Huh.
and serious approach to building a time machine, because they're like, hey, if we go back and redo all these things that we did wrong, the Fourth Reich, Third Reich, whatever Reich it was going to be, can live again, and be victorious all overall. But how much research did you do into the actual technology that is part of this story here? I mean, what's the
I did a little bit. Yeah, thankfully the technology is at this point it's because modern radar is so much more advanced that all the stuff related to the magnetron is declassified and is readily available. You can read about it on any government site. The main thing was actually getting into the timeline, which I had to find a copy of Bowen's diary, which there is a copy of Bowen's diary that's been published and you can buy, but it's very expensive. So I had to figure out where it might be archived and which libraries had it, and go through and actually read through the timeline of what happened and sort of piecing together what kind of people would be on this train and looking at the socioeconomic situation of London at the time. And so we end up getting kind of a mismatch of characters that come from all walks of life, because a lot of people are being forced from London out to the northeast and going back and forth, because if London wasn't getting bombed, then Liverpool was. If Liverpool wasn't getting bombed, then London was. And kind of figuring out all the little strands of the society at the time, because that's really the what it comes down to is the people, and that's kind of the truth of the story is the people of it.
All the best stories that came out of wartime England involved children getting on trains to go somewhere.
Right? Yeah.
This is traditionally drawn, by the way. This is not digitally, which means, folks, that you have the option of getting some original artwork as part of the tiers on this. Now, these are the fully colored pages, and like you mentioned up front, the book is complete. There is no funding this and then waiting for it to get finished. It's done. It's going to start shipping as soon as the campaign's over.
Yep.
But did you have a say in selection of the artists, or was that more on Malibu's Silverline side?
Malaline, yeah, or Silverboo.
Silverboo, yeah.
Silverboo, yeah. Yeah. So I was mixed. So the nice thing about working with publishers, they have a lot more connections than I do. So when my previous artist left, Silverline had connections to the Koepp school, and Ray Fujiwara was a student there who we reached out to, and he wanted to work on this. This cover that we're looking at right now is actually this is one I picked out. This was done by Dean Zachary, and so yeah, so he did sort of this classic, like very classic comics, like action comic scene for this alternate cover, which watching him work on this has been fantastic.
Oh yeah, the whole fight on top of a moving train is a classic action trope. So you can get the so since it's listed as original artwork, is this the digital ink, or did he ink over a scan? I mean, what's the
Yeah, so you can get the I believe it might have been Tommy did the inks, but yeah, you can get the original pencils from Dean, or you can get the I believe this is hand inked as well for the for this one as well. So you can get either one of them.
It's inked well, not taking nothing away from that, but man, I am a pencils guy.
Yeah.
When I see a completed pencil sheet, I'm like, stop. Don't touch it anymore. Just give me that.
You know, I mean, everyone that worked on this, Raga also did great inks on the interior. Another guy that was someone that like I fought for to have on the team was Martin Bertonen, our colorist. He's someone I got connected with, and we both have a love for Euro comics, especially like comics that came out in the late 80s, like mid 90s. And the way that colors were done to kind of like they weren't necessarily like rendered like they are like in American comics, especially now. You got a lot of pastels, flats and layers, and then if there was rendering, it was done in specific moments. But usually it was just done like you would like on an oil painting, where you're doing your high low layer and letting that rest on the page. And so a lot of the colors will serve the emotional storytelling of the scene. And when you're doing a spy story, a lot of it is on perception versus reality. Who's lying to who? And as a creative team, we make it known that we're lying to you, the reader, and that's the point of the comic.
Yes.
And so having colors that are done in a way that matches perception or emotional reality versus concrete reality, I think it just adds another level of engagement and like emotional honesty to the book.
So there's not this is not one of those beefed up campaigns where, hey, we got 50 different books you can pick from here, and some T-shirts, a couple of pins and buttons, coins, which is a good thing in my eyes. I like to come to the campaign and buy the thing I came to buy,
right?
And not spend hours shopping and say, oh, now I gotta pick this or that. But up first, of course, the
foil cover,
third tier, the one that's being promoted.
Yeah.
Is the shiny cover, the foil cover. You cannot walk across the keyboard while I'm doing the show. Please.
We love our fur babies though.
Yeah, this is Heisenberg.
Nice.
And she's Schrodinger is sitting on the printer.
Okay.
Pop over here in a minute. But so this is the foil cover for $15. Now is this the main cover in foil, or is this an alternate cover?
So this is the. I believe this is the Kickstarter exclusive one, or crowdfunding exclusive one. So this cover and this foil, I believe, will only be available for this time. And then I believe the main one is going to be whatever cover number A is. Actually, it could be the main one, just done as well. But you get that pulled up in mine as well.
I like the composition on this one. You got the searchlights going in the background. Big Ben, the steam train, the 1940s fashions on the females, the women.
Yeah,
females. I sound Ferengi when I say that. On the females.
Right. Well, this is something that. So yes, that is the main cover that is then being done as a foil, and then alternates are the Dean Zachary and the Javier Lugo, which are B and C. So if you want to get the main cover as a foil, now's the only chance to do that. However, I believe our variants are also only going to be available for a limited time after the initial run.
Yeah, I'm looking for the main A cover because this is the foil one. And
we have the
down
foil
here,
trailer, and then so
immediately you get B and C.
Yeah. So cover A. So if you want to get cover A, you can choose that in our. We may have done that a little differently. Okay. So foil A is our limited time ones, and then B and C will be our primary, and then I believe B is going to be the primary one once the rest of the variants have sold out.
You can pick either one here.
Yep. And we also have $12 will get you both covers.
Yes. But if you don't want both covers, you just want two of the one, you got the option to flip it about. So,
and if you want to hop down to, we have the $11 tier as well, which will get you issue 1 if you missed that one, and issue 2. So we try to make our pricing comparable to if you were to walk into your friendly local comic shop and pick up like 2 Marvel rags or 2 DC rags. It'd be about the same cost. So we wanted to make sure that we're not, pricing out any kids that want to get a cool spy story.
Yeah, this is nice here because you got, if you didn't get number 1, I didn't get number 1. I'm walking into this fresh. I can start the story from the beginning and then jump into this.
Yeah.
So I did not know that Fund My Comic had given you the option of how to sort your tiers, because normally on like Indiegogo or Kickstarter, you've got your featured tier, but then after that, it's sorted by price. They get more expensive as you go down. This is more, you can focus on the more important ones up front, despite the price.
The nice thing about Fund My Comic too is that also allows us to run a digital storefront on the back end. So if you miss the crowdfunding, you can still go through and buy any back issues, as opposed to something like Kickstarter, where once it's funded, it's gone.
And for you creators out there, you get to keep more of your money when you crowdfund it through Fund My Comic. They don't take as big of a chunk as Kickstarter or Indiegogo does. And the only real add-on you've got is that's not Wolf Hunter is the Silverline poster.
Yeah, we have the if you want to get that or the 2 pieces of art, or if you want to add on any other back issue, which if you like or are interested in picking up something like Kalis, which is another spy story, but more modern, a bit more sci-fi, or looking at picking up one of our Cape titles, then it's only $5 to add it on.
Yeah. Cape Town and Kalis were 2 of my favorites in the Silverline run. So
Brent, the writer of Kalis, and I, we've joked about back and forth about it. At some point we're going to have to do some sort of time travel or like genealogy lineage thing where we can link up our spy stories and have either descendant of Willard appear in Kalis or have someone from Kalis travel back in time to World War II.
So sort of a Silverline Wold Newton kind of theory. If you know the Wold Newton Philip Jose Farmer thing. I've pitched to Roland a couple of times now. It's like you need your Silverline Crisis thing. Bring all of it together, and it's easy to do. You just end every arc with them celebrating the victory and then turning the page and like, what's that? And they look up in the sky and it's black and there's this huge silver line going across the sky as the universe is cracked. I'm like, it writes itself after that. I don't want to write it.
I'll work on a Crisis on Infinite Lines or something and pitch it to Roland.
Yes, the lines. But it's despite the perspective from everybody looking up. Every page ends with the same silver line. It's got to have the same jagged texture, layout to it, so everybody knows that it's happening everywhere at the same time with the same line as the fabric of space-time is tearing open and things are going to spill.
We'll create the comics' first non-Euclidean crisis. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. So, are you working on any other? You obviously you're collaborating with the other writers there, but what other writing are you doing for Silverline right now outside of Wolf Hunter?
So this has been the kind of like soft announce. We haven't done a whole lot for it yet, but coming out later this year is going to be Silverline presents Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I'm writing that. Yeah, and Rob Davis is doing the pencils and art on that. Bob Carlborg doing the inks. And we have concept art for it yet. We haven't really announced it, but I am working on a Roman mythology sci-fi space opera that'll hopefully get some stuff to announce in the future.
Excellent.
So
yeah, I got to meet Dacre Stoker at an event in Belleville,
nice.
Illinois, and
Yeah.
as we were talking, he told me. So everybody else that knew him knew this, but I didn't know it. He has the manuscript, his great uncle's manuscript that was sent back from the printer, and in it he's got all the he's got the handwritten notes and the lineouts. So apparently the stuff that didn't make it into the book that got excised, he's got the full unexpurgated Dracula, and he's published it as if you just look for Dracula by Dacre Stoker, you'll see that.
Okay.
Whatever he's called it, whether it's the authorized or the unexpurgated or the unedited or whatever, it's the authoritative version of it.
Yeah.
He's like, and some of it needed to be taken out. it was wordy, but
that's the thing is, like, as a writer, you have to realize that you have to love your editor because they have your best. They really do have your best interest at heart when they tell you, like, we don't need this or this is bad. It's usually bad.
Yeah. We want your book to sell.
Yeah.
Because we want to make money.
Yeah.
As an editor myself, that's what we do it for, and we want people to come back to your book because they know it was a good book.
Yeah. And that's something we try to, like. That's what I'll have to look that up, but we try to be the most true to the manuscript adaptation of Dracula with this one, because there's even the film adaptations and even like the film Bram Stoker's Dracula, tons of liberties, and so we try to get it down to the details, down to the mustache, and because in the book there's a lot of really great visuals that you don't really see put to screen or to panel. The one that I talk about, it's going to be in the start of issue 2, is Elizabeth, when she gets turned and is later killed by Van Helsing and Harker. The way that Bram Stoker describes her being placed back in the casket with her head in her hands and her mouth stuffed full of garlic, like, that's a really great visual, and I have not seen that on a screen. It's a person holding their own head with a mouth stuffed full of garlic.
It's hard to adapt the book to a visual medium because so much of it was so epistolary. I mean, half the book is Jonathan Harker saying, "My dearest Mina, they're chasing me down the castle right now. I don't know how I'm going to escape." I'm like, why are you writing? And we know you escaped. You're writing the letter.
Yeah, and so I took a similar approach where. One of the things I love in comics, it's still done. There's a phase where it wasn't done much, but having the first person narration in the box. And so in the box, we'll have our boxes, which are done letter style, and they're epistolary. We have our boxes in the moment or like the narrator setting the scene, which are lettered differently. So we can get away with being a little epistolary at times, but still having this emphasis on strong visual storytelling.
I think I've asked everything I can ask about Wolf Hunter and what you're doing with Silverline, and I'm going to refresh the board just a little bit here.
Sure.
Folks, no point bringing it back up. I did not help you at all, which is not uncommon for a Saturday afternoon. I totally wasted your time being on my show. But people, the link to Wolf Hunter is right below it's down there. Click on it. It'll open up and fund my comic. As with all Silverline books, these are inexpensive, fun floppies that, like, you're used to getting at your comic shop. They're not, other than the foil copy, they're not these heavy-bound, overproduced products. They're comic books.
Yeah.
So do check it out. Tim, thank you so much for coming on today. And again, apologies for the mix-up last night.
No problem.
I know you probably were rushing home from work thinking that everything was going to be cool and groovy, and I was already snoring away. But we made it work out, so we're good to go. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for tuning in. I see the eyeball count up there. I know you're watching even if you're not chatting, so we appreciate you being here. We don't have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise, so we're glad you're here. And as always, while you were here, hope you had a blast.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delights. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic